Hey everybody, this is Barry Johnson. Welcome back to another edition of Studio Talk. Hello everybody, my name is Barry Johnson. Welcome back to another edition of Studio Talk. If you're like me, you've amassed a massive collection of plugins over the years you've been doing this. To the point to where it makes me ask this question: are plugin manufacturers starting to turn the creation of these plugins into a scam? Let's talk about it. Yeah. Like I said in the beginning, I don't know about you, but I've got a boatload of plugins. I mean, a ton of them. I've got so many plugins, I'm never, ever going to use the vast majority of them. And, so it makes you start to wonder, because, Waves is notorious for popping a few new plugins here and there. Mainly they got into this whole celebrity mixer, mix artist kind of thing and get into their plugins, the signature stuff. You've got Steven Slate Digital has been releasing new plugins like crazy. So there's a lot of great plugin manufacturers out there. So nothing I say today is to deter away from the quality of those plugins, or quite honestly, even their business practices, because they're in the business of selling plugins to guys like you and guys like me. So I'm not going to fault that. I don't fault that at all. But at what point do we stop and ask a question and ask a serious question? I'm like, put your big old fat mug like mine in front of the mirror, look at yourself in the eye and say, do I freaking need another compressor plugin? Do I need another EQ plugin? I mean, how many different plugins do I need to accomplish similar tasks? Are they really honestly imparting that much character or flavor into the tonality of my mixes? Are they really doing that? Or is that just me telling myself what I want to hear, making myself feel good about my purchase? I've got, as an example on my computer here, I've got every plugin that Softube makes. I've got every plugin that Brainworks / Plugin Alliance makes. I've got all the FL Studio stuff. I've got a big chunk, probably at least 2/3 of all the Waves plugins that I've accumulated over the years. I've got all the McDSP plugins. And of course, I've got all the Slate Digital plugins. Now, one of the things that's out there is that makes these things, these subscription plans start to get more compelling, is because of how much you can get for them, right? And so whether that's Slate Digital, whether it's Brainworks / Plugin Alliance or McDSP or some of the others out there that offer a subscription plan, I think as we go further into this, in my humble opinion, I think we're starting to see the value of those versus buying individual plugins, because I think the amount of money you're investing over a longer period of time is much less than if you were buying plugins, especially if you're just getting started with this. But that said, they all have a lot of plugins, and I mean, there's a ton of Softube plugins, a ton of Plugin Alliance plugins that I've never even used. I've never even had the time to try because they come with so many. And the challenge with having so many plugins is you get into this, you get stuck in your creativity. It's something to slow you down while you think you're trying to find something that's going to give you a better result than another plugin would be. So I think we've got to start looking at these plugin manufacturers for kind of what it is. They're constantly releasing new plugins. What I'd rather see them put their effort into is some of their plugins that have maybe been out a while, maybe update those. Maybe there's technology that's been advanced over the years since you originally came out with it. I'll use Waves as an example. Recently, they updated their SSL channel strip. And I'll be honest with you, I like it. It sounds really good. It's better than the original. The original only got a face covering. The GUI just got redesigned, but there's really nothing under the hood from the original SSL that came out, well over a decade ago. I mean, well over a decade ago. I know I've been using it at least that long, if not longer. They updated it, so that I can get behind. You've got a great plugin, just update it, because we don't need quantity, we need quality. That's what's important, as best as we can get. But I think all of us out there, you and me, need to start questioning how we view plugins in our workflow and ask ourselves, how important is it really to have a significant variety of plugins? What I found that I've done over the years is there's a handful that I navigate to almost every single mix that I do. I've gotten used to them. I enjoy them. So I pretty much only have one or two reverbs that I use. I only use one delay, and that's Echo Boy by Sound Toys. There are others out there, but that gets everything I need done. You know what I mean? As far as channel strips, I've done a video on the on SSL's version of their emulation of their old consoles, and I pretty much use those on every single mix. And so I think when you look at what your needs are versus what your wants are, don't get caught in and get sucked into that. I gotta have more. I gotta have more. I gotta have more. Because I think what you're going to find out is you're rarely going to use that more and more and more. Now, back to subscriptions. If you happen to join a subscription, take it easy, take it slow. Let those tools be a tool for you rather than a hindrance to you. Because when you get so many, you can get sucked into that. I want to try everything, and you start to lose some continuity in your workflow and things like that. So I think we all need to sit back and take a second look. Especially if we're purchasing plugins versus a subscription. I think all of us have to sit back and ask ourselves, let's stop buying things that we don't need or don't use. Okay, let's stop that and try to be more productive and better spend that money more wisely on things that can make a difference, more so than maybe a variety of plugins. Now, don't get me wrong, there's some fantastic plugins out there. I mean, fantastic. But you don't need all this variety. That's just my 2 cents. I think if you could just master the art of getting, having maybe 3 or 4 EQs, 3 or 4 compressors, 1 or 2 reverbs, maybe 2, maybe 3 channel strips or things like that. And then, of course, some specialized plugins. And I think when you get into specialized, that's when you kind of do need some of that. But for most of us are sculpting our sound and a tonality of our mixes with compressors, EQs, and time-based effects. Okay, that typically takes up the majority of them, of the tonality of the music that we produce. Of course, we've got special effects and things that do unique things, but those are a smaller percentage of the overall plugins used, if you understand what I mean. So think about it. Think about how this relates to you and your workflow and what you should be doing with your money and your time. Because when you get into this rabbit hole of plugin after plugin after plugin after plugin, you really can go down that rabbit hole and find that it really decreases your productivity. So think about this hard and heavy, hard and heavy, hard and heavy. Just like my mama said, every day of my life, Barry, just because you can does not mean you should. Okay? And so that's what I'm saying to you. I'm going to be your temporary mama for today. Ooh, that just doesn't sound right, does it? Anyway, who's your daddy? Not me. Okay, so if you like the content I talk about on this channel, come on, do me a favor, hit that like, subscribe, that notification bell. Help me out. Let's get this stuff out to more people so more people can look at my ugly mug and say, why am I watching this idiot? I don't like the way he looks. I don't like the way he sounds. And man, he's a little too animated. And sometimes I am those things. But what I want you to do for the rest of this day is have one hell of a great day. Bye-bye. Bye. You still here? Come on, man. Get out. Go away. Get out.